Hey, I'm Thomas. I'm a software engineer at GitLab and I work on the editor extensions. In this video, I want to quickly show you a proposal that I'm making about improving the error handling and troubleshooting in the VS Code extension and language server. So without further ado, let's jump to it and let me show you what I'm proposing. So the problem, the goal that I had with this epic and all the issues that I created, the spikes I've made, is to provide clear information to tell users, like, is the issue with a GitLab instance, with your account, or is it misconfiguration of the extension? The problem is that at the moment we are surfacing, we have many places where this information is shared. There is some explicit, like the logs, where you can, in two different panels, if you have a look here, we've got panel for GitLab workflow and we've got panel for the language server. Here you might find information about why something is failing. But there is also implicit information. For example, if you are opening this sidebar and you see some information either for the current branch or you check the merge requests, that's implicitly telling you that the VS Code extension is correctly set up with a GitLab project and your account. And there is also the status bar item. But the problem is that when user faces an issue, we usually just try a lot of troubleshooting steps for them, and a lot of them are not necessary because we already have the context. We ask them to re-add the token, but what if the token is working just fine? We ask them to run some curl queries. We ask them to check if the instance is available. We ask them what's the version of all the systems involved, and so on and so on. So a high-level solution, and it's going to be a very iterative process, but the high-level solution is just to surface this information about what might be wrong with the extension in a better way and in one place or just few places. So the solution will include simplifying the extension, example being removing the support for multiple accounts, validating early that the context is, like, validating early that when the request comes to the extension or language server, that we have all the information. We have token, we have account setup, we have license. All that should happen at the moment where we are trying to run a command or trigger an action, and not further down the line, so we can exit or report an error as soon as it happens, and then introducing diagnostics. What I want to show you are three proposed smallish issues for this. One is to surface a context. Let me find it here. Feature for language server, unify context. Here we go. So I'll show you a proof of concept, right? Let's say that the connection for code suggestions is failing, and it's failing. Maybe something's wrong with the GitLab instance and the license synchronization or whatnot, but you don't know. But we would like to, let's say that you have a file open. I'll open a file and you trigger code suggestions and you don't get them back. Something happened, you don't know what. Let's open the logs and see what is the output of the language server. So usually you would only see a message saying, the URL request, the HTTP request to completions failed. I failed it on purpose with misspelling the endpoint. And you would get 404, 401, some error, but you don't know exactly what is the configuration of the language server at the point of when this request has been made. And so the proof of concept that I created is adding a context that will be attached to all error messages. Let's say that you will know all the versions. You will know what's the user and what API scopes they have. You will know version of the GitLab instance. You will know the file that they were requesting. And we can add more and more. This is one fix that or improvement of our troubleshooting that I'm proposing. Another one is to introduce diagnostics command. And I'll show you that this proof of concept that I created is completely stopped. So let me show you how that would work. Don't save. Something's not right with your extension, and you just run the command GitLab diagnostics, and you would get an output like this. You would get an output saying what are all the versions, what project and account is currently used for the file when you run diagnostics, and then maybe we would give you information about all these features that are part of the extension. The trick with, or not trick, but the reason why this is Spike is because I don't even know how this information should look like. And in many places, it will require further changes to our architecture to be able to extract, for example, the feature checks from a language server. So it's a Spike, and the output would be that we know what the diagnostics output is supposed to be, and we have issues to get it. And then the last out of the issues that I created, I want to show you is to help troubleshoot with curl issues. So quite often, not quite often, but for more complicated network setups, when you have custom SSL certificates or you've got proxy or both, it's possible that your operating system is configured differently or has a different access to, for example, edit certificates than the VS Code and VS Code extensions. And in that case, we usually recommend users to troubleshoot with curl queries. But it's error-prone process. We send them your curl query and say, put your token here, put your instance URL here. What we can do is instead present them with a message that will let them copy the curl command that they need directly into their clipboard. So to show you how that would look like, let's say that I just hooked the Spike into the diagnostics, but it would be showing at the point where we detect a failure. So we would show an error message like this, and then you copy the command. You can go to your terminal, paste the command, run it, and here, because there is invalid token, you see 401, but you would otherwise see maybe some different error that would help us debug what's wrong with the extension. And so these are 3 examples. There are more issues on the Epic, but the idea is that we would start gathering all the information very early in one place and then surfacing what accounts are set up, what instance you are using, and all the other prerequisites and feature checks in one place, and maybe attaching them to all the errors that happen. You can check out the spikes, you can check out the issues, I'll link it in the description. And yeah, as always, like, subscribe, it really helps the channel.